First thing that we're going to talk about today is our contracts feature. So our contracts feature is a newer feature for our custom SKU packages that's really going to allow you to collect signatures on a full comprehensive legal contract from your clients. So over on the left-hand side under planning, you'll see contracts. So we're going to click on that. And then up at the top right, that's where you're going to want to start a new contract. So you can start one from scratch. You can upload an existing one. Maybe you've made one outside House Pro that you want to upload, or you can start one from a template. So we have a stock one in here for you if you'd like to start from that, or you can also end up creating your own template that you can start from next time. So we're going to take a look at this one that I've already created here, and you'll see it's going to have the name, who the client is, what the status is. So you can quickly see, was this sent? Has it been approved? Those sorts of details, as well as details on when it was created. And then over at the far right, you're going to see those friendly 3 dots that we use lots all across House Pro. And that's going to give you a few other options like to preview and share it, to copy a link, to download it as a PDF, print, archive, and delete. So just a couple basics from that page. Now, if we click to open this contract, you're going to see the actual contract that I've already built out here. And I just copied and pasted this one in actually. And then I wanted to use smart text in a few areas to be able to fill in those fields that House already knows about, right? So up in the top right-hand corner, you're going to see smart text. So you can actually plug these details in directly into your project, into your contract. So things like the project name, maybe if there's a budget associated, what the project address is, you can quickly pull in those details and put them right here. So let's say client email was one that I want to fill in right here. I'm going to go to smart text, client email. And so then it's going to fill that in for me right here. So I have it logged in as no email at house.com just for this sample project. But if you had your client's email logged in, it would go ahead and fill that in for you. Alternatively, you'll see that I don't have a client phone number saved right here. So that one shows up in red for me. So it's going to notify you and let you know which details you do and don't have. And right here under add client, you can actually fill in those client details if you haven't already done so. Up at the top left, you'll see a few different functionalities like undo, redo, all the basics that you're probably used to in something like Word, as well as text size options, bold, all of those fun things, highlight, your alignment, bullets, numbering, the line height, as well as adding in actual links to it as well. Now, if we scroll down through my contract, down at the bottom, it's going to have the signature blocks for you. So it's going to have your company signature. It's going to have an area for your client to sign. And then you can also add additional signatures as needed. Now below that, you'll see the activity stream. So once you actually send this to your customer, you're going to be able to come back to this document to track that activity stream. So you can get a picture and understanding of where the client's at in the process. Have they opened it? Have they viewed it? Have they not even looked at it? All of those details are going to be logged for you right here so that you'll know exactly what's going on with the contract. Maybe you need to send out a message to them through the client dashboard and say, hey, I noticed that you haven't opened the contract. Can you take a minute to look at it when you have time? You can do that super easily from right inside House Pro. Now up at the top, this is where you're going to go when you're getting ready to send it. So there's different options up here. This one is going to be some of our automation. So if you want to send those reminders automatically, or if you want to send a thank you message, so maybe once it's signed, you want to go ahead and send an automatic thank you note, you can do that right there. This next one is going to be for downloads. So if you need to download it as a PDF, you can do so. And then it's just going to save directly to your local computer or phone. And you'll see right here what that looks like. It's just going to go ahead and give you the full contract so that you can have a paper copy of it if you prefer. And then the next one is going to be copy links. So if you need to share a direct link to the contract, you can do so. And then the next is preview. So preview is going to give you kind of that preview that you can see exactly what your client's going to see, make sure that everything is lined up. You can run through it really quickly and say, okay, where are my holes? What do I need to fix? That sort of thing before it goes out the door. And then when you're ready, you just hit send at the top. When you have a client in here, you'll have the client information automatically populated. You'll see I don't have one, so there's not one there. You can also add anybody that you want to CC, as well as adjust the email that's going out with it and save it as a template. So maybe there's an email that you want to send every time that you send a contract. You can write it one time, save it as a template, and then that will send every time when you send out a contract. So that is our new contracts feature. Do we have any questions about contracts?
Yes, one question. Can you just show one more time how to access that from within a project?
Yes. So over on the left-hand side, we're going to go back out to the main project page just to make it really clear. You got project name up at the top. Under planning, there's selection board, selections tracker, and then contracts. And this is a custom SKU feature, so it's a higher package. It's like our top package. And so if you don't see it, that may be why. Good?
Yep, that's all.
Okay, awesome. Next thing that I want to show you guys is pinning projects. So we're going to go over to this projects tab and click projects right here. So now it's going to bring up that project overview page, and you'll see that I have this Grayson Residence project pinned to the very top. Especially once you start having a lot of projects. If you have 20 or 30 projects, but maybe there's 2 or 3 that you're specifically working on, you can now actually pin the project to the top. So let's say Sarah's home, I want to pin. Now you'll see that it's appearing at the top for me for quick reference. If you ever want to unpin it, you just click these 3 dots, hit unpin project, and it's going to leave from that pinned area up top. So super easy, just click. You can do it from the 3 dots and pin it, or you can hover and you'll see this little thumbtack icon and you can pin that as well. So 2 options there. Any questions about that, Katie?
Nope, no questions.
Okay, awesome. Next on my list is our bidding feature. So sometimes our designers will use bids, though it is more of a contractor focused feature. You can still use it for things that you need to have done by subs or by GCs, right? So something like wallpaper installation, for example, you can create a bid package for that, send the bids out to the actual wallpaper installer and get a price for the project, right? But what we've noticed is that some of the subcontractors don't always submit the bids. They're still defaulting to their typical ways of handling bids. Maybe it's a text, maybe it's an email or phone call. And so we wanted to solve for that. And we actually just introduced where you can actually submit the bid yourself. So it's just going to make sure that you're okay with submitting the bid on behalf of the subcontractor. They'll still be notified that you've done it for them inside House Pro, but you can actually go ahead and put in the amount yourself. So that way you don't have to hold out waiting for them to maybe or maybe not get into House Pro through the link and sign up for it. And so you can just enter in, okay, they said it's going to be $1,200 to do this little room, and then submit for the bidder up at the top right. You can send them an email notification and say, hey, I just submitted the cost on your behalf. And all of these details are going to be tracked in that activity stream for you. So you'll know you submitted the bid right here. You edited the bid. So it wasn't that the sub actually came into the system and did it themselves, but you did it on their behalf. And so that kind of speeds things up for you, especially for the subs who are not as tech friendly. So great new functionality for our bid feature. Anything so far, Katie? Any questions?
No, the chat is quiet. Feel free to add any questions.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so the next thing that I want to show you guys is actually rolling out. It should be tomorrow. So I wanted to go ahead and give you a sneak preview of it. So this is going to be favorites in your catalog. So if you have lots of items added into your catalog that maybe you use often, maybe you use the same toilet every time, or maybe you use the same sink every time, you'll actually be able to mark items as a favorite. So let's say this sink I use quite often. I can click these 3 dots and mark it as a favorite. And so you'll be able to use up at the top, show favorites, and only see your favorite items, or toggle that back off and not see your favorite items, but it will still have that black star next to it. So you'll know exactly which items are your favorites and which things that you use regularly, or maybe you've used a product successfully and maybe this tile looks really great installed and you want to mark that as a favorite so you can use it again on a future project. You can do that super quickly. And then all of those things are going to show for you when you hit show favorites. So like I said, that's coming out tomorrow, but giving you a little sneak preview there because that's going to be a really cool functionality for you. Okay. Any questions about favorites?
No questions.
Okay. Next on the list is our new Zapier integration. I'm not sure how many of you already use Zapier, but we just launched an integration. Again, this is for our custom package, but it's allowing you to bring in information to fill into our leads platform. So it's only a one way. It's bringing data into House Pro. In the future, we plan to also push out from House Pro, but for right now, it is just bringing information in. So to access the Zapier integration, you just go to settings over on the left-hand side, and then under integrations, you'll see Zapier down at the bottom. So a little bit about how it works. It basically allows you to set a trigger, then define an action, and then the zap basically happens every time something happens. So it's kind of like if this, then that. So if this happens, then do this, right? So if a submission comes in on my website, then automatically create a lead in House Pro. That sort of workflow is what's going to work best here. So I'm going to open Zapier. Katie, can you still see that on your screen?
Yeah, we can see it.
Okay, perfect. So you'll see what's possible here. So connect the app House Pro to other apps, right? If this, then that. Very cool stuff. So there's a number of default workflows that we have here. So maybe you have a Google form set up on your website. So you automatically collect new leads that way. Or maybe it's a Google Sheet. Or maybe you have HubSpot and maybe you manage your leads that way. Or maybe it's a Squarespace form that your prospective customers are filling out. So you can set up different workflows based off of exactly how your business runs, essentially. And there's thousands of apps that you can kind of connect. And so you can search through here and find the one that's right for you. But for purposes of today, we're going to use the Google Sheets example. So we're going to click use this workflow. And now it's taking you into the actual Zapier experience. So you'll want to have a Zapier account before you get started. So if you don't already have one, definitely set up a Zapier account. There is a free version that you can use. They have paid versions if you're expecting like large influx of form submissions or things like that. But generally speaking, like the free membership should be sufficient. Over on the left-hand side, this is kind of Zapier's AI. So it will kind of give you advice and help to help you get it configured and set up, or you can just ignore that if you want to. But they have lots of different tutorials and things that will help you. Now, over on the right-hand side, you're going to see this is kind of the steps that you have to take to go through the flow. So first is to set it up, then you're going to configure it, and then you're going to test it. Up at the top, you can name this Zap. So if I want to name this Zap leads from Google Sheet, I can name it that. And so that's just going to kind of assign it to that in my actual Zapier account. So I have already chosen on that last screen that I want to work with Google Sheets. And my trigger event means it's basically defining what is the if, right? If there is a new spreadsheet row, then I need something to happen. So you're choosing what you want that to be. So maybe it's if the spreadsheet row is updated, or if there's a new spreadsheet. You can kind of denote very granularly what you want it to be. But for purposes of this, we're going to say a new spreadsheet row. Below that is where you're going to link your Google account. So I've already got mine linked, so you can actually click right here if you needed to change it. But if you haven't linked one, you'll just connect a new account, and it's going to kind of walk you through the flow of connecting your account to Zapier. Next, down at the bottom, you hit continue, and now you're in that configure phase. So in the configure phase, you're going to look at that spreadsheet. You're going to look at your Google Drive, choose the spreadsheet that you want. So I created a spreadsheet called Zapier Leads. I'm going to link it to that one. And then the next value that you can choose is the worksheet. So if you look at my actual spreadsheet here, you'll see I only have one worksheet. If I had multiple sheets, like a second one, it would allow me to choose from that second sheet. So when you hit refresh results, you'll see that I had that second sheet as well. So we're going to go back onto sheet one, and we are going to choose that as what we want to work with, and then hit continue. So next is the testing phase. You'll see that setup and configure are both checked. Now we're in the testing phase. And so to confirm your trigger is set up correctly, we're going to find a recent spreadsheet row in your account. So I'm just going to hit test trigger. I added the second row to it just a little while ago. Okay, so it was row B. You can see here, row B was added recently. And then we're going to hit continue with selected record. And so next it's going to say, okay, what app are we doing? We're doing House Pro. What action do you want to happen? I want it to create a new lead based off of my Google Sheet. And then last, you have to connect your House Pro account. So you'll be able to connect your House Pro account right here. The only limitation is if you have your House Pro account connected to Google. We have not rolled out that functionality yet. You will have to do it using your login and password instead. So you just connect your actual account to House Pro, and then it's automatically going to give you the steps to actually link it into your lead in House Pro. Let me type in that password real quick, and I will show you guys what it looks like. Forgive me for 1 second. We have lots of house accounts on our team, so the passwords are spread all over the place. Let me see. There we go. I'm just typing it in on another screen. I know you probably can't see that screen, but it's just typing my login and password. I'm linking it. Okay, let's see. Yes, continue. Okay, that didn't work out for me, but I think I might have the wrong credentials, but that's okay. Okay. Something's not working for me there, but that's okay. So basically what happens next for you, you just link that House Pro account. And then from there, it's going to ask you, what fields you want it to associate with. So basically like client name comes from column A and client email comes from column B, that sort of thing. And then once you set it up, you can actually go into your Zapier account and view that specific Zap. So if you ever need to delete it and go back, you can do so right here. So you see create House Pro leads from new Google row sheets. So that's the one that we created together right inside House Pro. You're looking at the exact same thing. And so that is where you would manage it if you need to kind of overarchingly update things or delete the actual Zap because you don't want to use it any longer. So that's kind of how that works. I'm getting some authentication problems, so I apologize for the inconvenience, but if you have any questions, just let us know.
Just one question. Is Zapier free?
So there is a free version of Zapier. So I'm actually using the free version. It will give you a 14-day trial. So you'll see right here, I set mine up yesterday. And so the 14-day free trial gives you access to all these paid features. But they also have a basic version that you don't have to do that. So you don't have to have one. And all of the Zaps that we've set up, you can totally use on the free version. So you shouldn't need to pay for a paid one unless you want to.
Awesome. No other questions. We know that was a little bit more technical maybe than we usually get into. So feel free to explore it on your own and then reach out to anyone on our support team if you have questions.
Definitely.
Okay, awesome. So now let me start sharing my screen. Okay, perfect. So first I'm going to start with an overview of some new financing options that we've launched recently. And this is both for your clients, if they're interested in financing, as well as for your own business. So back in about February, we partnered with a company called Figure, and they offer HELOC loans to homeowners. HELOC is a home equity line of credit. So it's basically a loan against the home equity that you have in your house. So I know some of you may be like, I don't want to offer financing. I don't want to work with clients who need financing. We have heard that, but we've also spoken with a lot of designers who like knowing that it's an option because you really never know which of your clients may be interested in financing. And it's a great way for you to potentially get bigger jobs, as well as to move those jobs along more quickly because your clients can have that additional funding that they need. So let me show you here where you can learn a little bit more about our HELOC partnership. So if you go into this financials tab, I will call out, this is actually relatively new as well. So we've reorganized all of our financial features to be within this financials tab. If you go down here to HELOC, there's a page where we tell you about, some of the benefits, like I mentioned, win more projects. There's no sign-up fees for you. And we also link to our help article where you can learn more about it. And so this figure option has already been included in proposals or invoices that you send. So this is, for instance, just a visual of what it looks like. At the bottom of the payment options, your clients can see this banner to see options that they may be qualified for. If you don't want your clients to see that, if you don't want to offer it, that's totally fine. You can just check this box here or uncheck it if you don't want to include HELOC as a payment option. So again, we have gotten really good feedback on it, but if for whatever reason you don't want to offer it, that's fine. You can disable it here. And then I'll show you an example of what it looks like to your clients. So if you send them an invoice, this is an example of the email that they typically see, review, and pay. And then if they scroll down at the bottom, there's also a banner here for figures. So they can click Get My Rate and enter some information to get a rate that's personalized for them. Again, if you do disable it, this banner won't show up on the email as well. But feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. And like I said, we've gotten really good feedback, I think, even from a lot of designers who are like, I didn't think that client would want financing. He's a doctor, they're lawyers, but it was nice to have that just as an option to offer them.
Katie, is it available for the UK?
Oh, good question. It's not available for the UK today, but we are exploring other offers for international.
Awesome. Thank you.
Okay, great. And then another financing option that we've recently launched is actually financing for your business. And so this is through Stripe Capital, who's our partner for online payments. And Stripe sends you offers. If you're eligible for this, you should be getting an email on a monthly basis. And so this is primarily for our customers who are already using online payments through Stripe. And that's because Stripe has already done all your business verification. They have some sort of view into the size of your business, so they can create these loans that are really tailored for you. So you should be getting these on a monthly basis. You can click to view your offer. And again, every month, those offers will change based on what's right for your business. So you can just, go through, browse, choose if you're interested in to sign up for a loan option here. But this is a great way too, if you are looking for some additional funds to grow your business, if you want to hire additional staff, use it for marketing. Really, there are a lot of different applications that you can use with these. Any questions?
Nope, you're good to go.
Okay, perfect. So let's see. Next, we're going to switch gears a little bit here and talk about a new way to cover returns and credits for items. So we know that this has been a question that we often get, and now there's just an easier, more straightforward way to do this. So let's go into an invoice here. Go into our final selections. And so you can do this on documents that have been paid. So there are a few ways to do it. The first, let's say our clients no longer want this chandelier. You click on those three dots, return item, and then the item is created there. You can see in parentheses, it says return, so you know what this item is. There's a negative line item there. And then if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see that there's this negative credit there that you can create. I'll just show you one other way we can create a credit, and that is by adding an additional line item. So let's say you want to have here client referral credit. We'll make that $500. Let's take this off. So then again, you can see this credit is bigger. Click Create Credit. And we have a credit that's been created to this project that you can then apply to another part of the project. So if we go back here into our sample project, scroll down to retainers and credits. And then if you go up here next to retainer, if you click on credits, you'll see all of the credits that have been created for this project. And let's say I previously had a $500 credit that I already applied. You can see that it was applied. And then this is this new credit I just created. If I go to create another invoice or proposal, I can choose to apply this credit to that payment. Any questions?
Nope, you're good to go.
Okay, great. So the next one is on mood boards. This is just a quick little update, but I think it should hopefully help save you some time. So if we go into a mood board, now we have an easier way to select multiple image so you can resize them, duplicate them. And it's basically the same functionality you may be used to from like PowerPoint or Google Slides. So you can just here draw around all the images that you want to include and then, manipulate them in the same way. So you can make them bigger, smaller. You can choose to like duplicate some of them. And we have a lot of the same shortcuts as well that you would be used to from using other programs. So that's like a short and sweet little update there. And then let me get into our next one, which is a very, very exciting update. And that is the ability to create 3D products from 2D products in our 3D floor planner. So this is probably the #1 request that we get whenever we have a webinar, whenever we talk to customers around, what else would you like to see in the 3D floor planner? And that is the ability to like use your clipped objects or use other products that you've added in a 3D floor plan. So let me show you how to do that here. One other update I will call out is just this updated toolbar. So it's, a little more visual here. We've condensed a lot of our functionalities here. So it's pretty straightforward. You can play around with it, but did want to call that out here. So in order to create a 3D product, you go down here into My Products. And you'll see all the products, for instance, you have in your library. So depending on what plan you have for us, you'll get a certain number of credits. So, right now this account has 3 credits and each credit can be used to convert a product. So let's say we want to convert this chair here. I will say as well that there are some limitations on the type of products that be converted. So we recommend furniture products are probably the best to start with, like chairs, couches, pillows, instead of something like a light fixture. It's just a little bit more straightforward, I would say, for now for the technology. So the first step here is you mask the product, and that's basically making an outline or the cutout of the product so that we can understand where the product ends and then like where the background is. So let's see. This is just taking a second. Abby, any questions?
The only question that we have is about returns. I see it popped up, so we can cover that in just a second.
Okay, perfect. So we add a mask, and then you basically just click on the product to outline it. So any areas, it looks like that is pretty well masked, I would say. Okay. And then there is a product link here as well. So if you wanted to go back into the product link to look at anything, you can. If you want to reset it, just click reset so you can start over. Because every time you convert one of these products, you use a credit, even if you're not happy with the end result. So I would just say take your time on this step to make sure that everything is really going to translate over accurately. Then we click generate product. So this does take a few minutes, so I'll show you an example that I've already created previously. But basically, when this step is done, it just asks you to input any of the dimensions. And then you can see, I'll close this window. Then you can see that there's this section up here in My Products called 3D Products. And if you click on that, you can see any of those products from your library that you've converted to 3D. So if you, this is one that I did previously. You can just click here to add it. Let's say we'll put it in the middle of our kitchen for now. And then when you go into the dollhouse view, you can see it looks like any of the other furniture items in there. We'll delete that. So again, this is a super exciting one that has been like a long time coming, and hopefully you can all try it out and feel free to share any feedback with us. Any questions?
No, I don't think we have any questions about that. Maybe you know the answer to this about returns. So if the invoice was paid with a retainer, will the credit go back to the initial retainer?
That's a good question. Let us look into that for you.
Okay, awesome.
I don't believe so. I think that you'll have a credit that you can apply to a future payment, but we can check.
Okay, yeah, we'll get back to you on that, Lawrence.
Okay, great. And then the last one I'm going to cover is some updates to our client dashboard. So client dashboard is a really impressive feature, I would say, for the clients that you're working with. It's one place where they can access everything related to the project. So instead of you sharing some things over email, maybe over text, everything can be consolidated in the client dashboard. And so if they have a question on a Saturday night at 10 p.m., they can just log in and check instead of sending you a message or, you know, having to dig through their emails. So within every project, there's this client dashboard. And so we've had this functionality for a while, but now we've made a lot of really great improvements to make it easier for you, and then also just like a nicer place and more useful for clients to go. So the first update is that we've added the ability to add a cover image. So if you choose cover image here, you can see there are some sample images that we've added, or you can add a company file if you wanted to add a logo or anything else there. So let's choose this sort of fun background. And then you'll see that any messages are automatically logged in here. The contract, for instance, that Abby was showing earlier, there will be a link here. You can see that it's sent. All your financial documents, so your clients can easily see what was paid, what's, again, that credit here, they can see that's available. And anything else that you choose to share in the client dashboard, like if you share mood boards, selection boards, 3D floor plans, they can just go in, see everything in one spot. And then if you click up here to customize, you can choose what your clients can see. So if for some reason you don't want them to see selections board or a schedule, you can just toggle that on and off here. Then click save. And then another nice update that we've added is the ability to add a widget. So you can choose, for instance, to add the weather, or you could add in a video if you have like a great video about your company that you wanted to add in there. Or you could add a text block. So you could say something like, all of the project details will be here. You can save it. And then every time your clients go in, they'll just see, you know, that welcome message at the top. You can preview it, and then you can also share it. So you can send it as an email to your clients, so they'll get this link, and then they can come view everything in it. With this update, we did also launch an authentication. So clients have a two-step authentication that they'll do. And this is basically just to help keep everything secure, because there is like financial information in here. So that's it. Any questions?
Yeah, definitely. So let's see. One question was about the cover image. Does it usually take a long time for that to show up? It seems like it's taken a while. That one never showed up.
Yeah, I'm not sure why. I would say no, it doesn't. Oh, there we go. Maybe it was that image I chose.
Okay, cool. Awesome. And then I'm not sure if it's Alicia or Alessia, so I apologize. But she was asking if there's a generic link that maybe she can put on her website for any of her clients to directly tap in. We do not have that yet, but we've had a couple of people ask for that. So if you're interested in that functionality, please let us know in the chat, because your feedback helps us inform what we choose to do next. So there's a lot of people interested in that. We'd love to know it, just so that we can incorporate that in our roadmap. And then the last question is about the credits for 2D to 3D. Do people need to purchase those, or how does it work?
No, so they should be automatically added to your account, but every plan is slightly different. So if you have specific questions, I would say you could reach out to our support team. I believe that the Essential and the Pro SKUs get 5 credits. This is on a monthly basis. And then custom SKU gets more, but I don't know all those exact credit amounts.
Okay, awesome. And Lawrence, I am pasting a response to your message about retainers. I checked in with our support team, and so I'm sending you an answer to that right now. Okay, we appreciate you being here.
Yes, thank you so much for joining, everyone.